Hello again! So today I'm showing you how I do my makeup on an everyday basis, so my most basic makeup look that I usually do. Well, I don't wear makeup on an everyday basis, but when I do, this is what I do. So let's just jump into it. We are gonna obviously start with a totally makeupless face. I only tweak this makeup look just a little bit, maybe with some lipstick or things like that, depending on the season. But otherwise, this is the makeup that I use every day. What can be interesting for you about this makeup is that I try to use the least amount of makeup that I can. So in terms of products, I will use only 5 makeup items for this makeup, but well, and I will use 5 brushes, but no one has to know that. No, I only use brushes because I like using them and they are so convenient that I didn't want to reuse those. So yeah, I will only use 5 makeup items for this makeup. What is also interesting about this makeup that I have explained in another video is that I never use a full face of makeup. I choose some areas that I want to enhance, for example, my eyes or my lips, and then after that I cover up only the parts that need to be covered. So this is how this makeup look is gonna go. First, I am gonna take a brush, and then, by the way, I only use foundation or concealer. I think that you can use concealer as well, but the main thing is that you choose one of them. First, I'm gonna cover up some imperfections that I have. Here you can see it pretty well. I have some spots. But the main thing is about this. The main thing is that I never really liked the feeling of a full face of foundation. And that is why I started using this technique instead. By the way, I should mention that if you want to learn how to really use makeup, I think Lisa Eldridge is amazing for that. Her channel, her basics videos especially are great. That is actually her technique, that she only puts concealer on the parts where the face really needs concealing. But the way she does it is obviously with a full face of makeup. So she really covers up the entire face first. That I think most makeup artists would cover up the entire face with really thick foundation if they wanted good coverage, but that's not what she does. She only uses more product on places where they need to be covered. And I think that is great. I really don't believe that you need a full face of makeup every day. Oh, okay, sorry. I forgot to say what I wanted to do. So I use some foundation on the parts that need to be covered. Okay. And then after that I just put some powder on those areas, but only on those areas. And this way the foundation will stay put. The reason why I only use foundation is because I feel like I don't need as heavy coverage. I think concealers are usually thicker, so you can use concealers as well if you think you need it. So the next step that I do is with foundation as well. I just put some foundation on my eyelids, and basically, I don't know if you noticed that, but I am substituting concealer and eye primer with foundation as well. And this way you don't need an eye primer and concealer and primer and stuff like that, and you will have less makeup products. By the way, the huge advantage about using one kind of makeup every day is that you don't have to think about it, and you can basically look the same, and you won't have to risk getting up in the morning and maybe messing up your makeup because you are so used to it that you won't mess it up. The next thing that I do is I put some eyeshadow on my eyelid. So this is gold eyeshadow. The reason why I'm using gold eyeshadow is because I have blue eyes, and I read when I was about 18 years old, I think, that gold eyeshadow is great for blue eyes. And I believed that, and I went out and bought some gold eyeshadow, and I think it really works. I think it was fortunate that I discovered this, because before then I always tried using gray and silver eyeshadows. I thought that they would be good because my eye color is a gray-blue kind of color, and I thought that gray and silver eyeshadows would enhance this color, but it turns out it doesn't work like that, and I never really felt comfortable with gray and blue eyeshadows. Really lucky that I could discover that. I think if you feel like you haven't found your perfect eyeshadow color yet, then you should maybe look into how colors are working with each other, and maybe you can find a good eyeshadow color that enhances your eye color. So I basically only put the gold eyeshadow up until like 75% of my eye, and this way I can put a darker brown color on the outer edge. So what I am basically doing here is giving my eyes a bit of definition and shadow, shading my eyes. By the way, there was a period in my makeup story where I loved using bronzers to shape my face here, but I realized that it was so fussy, so I stopped using that aspect of makeup, of just putting anything on your face, on this half of your face. I don't use that anymore. So now that we are done, well, you can probably see that I put some eyeshadow here and some eyeshadow in the crease up here, so that my eye is a bit more defined. And now mascara. The reason why I don't say the brands of these products that I use is because I don't think that it matters. It depends on the country anyway, what kind of products you can get, and I tend to use very niche, natural makeup products anyway. That is my only reasoning behind that. So mascara. This mascara that I'm using is also from a natural brand. I know that putting on mascara freaks some people out. Fortunately, I never had this problem. I also never had a problem with penciling in my eye. But it was a huge trend, I think, in the early 2000s. And that is when I tried doing that. And I also never understood how people who only go through their eyelashes with the mascara once do that, because when I do that my lashes just clump together and it doesn't really work. However, this way I go through the eyelashes more than once. This way the whole thing just works out. Okay. So the reason why I didn't put anything under my eyes yet is because I didn't want the eyeshadow to fall on it, and I didn't want the mascara to smudge under here, under my eyes. Now I'm just realizing that today I don't really have big circles under my eyes, fortunately, but I usually do, especially in the winter. In the summer it is so good when you are outside so much that your skin is perfect and everything is good. That is why I am putting some foundation under my eyes. That is how I do that I place some foundation under the eyes with a brush. So I am using this really pointy brush for foundation because it makes it easier to cover up those small imperfections that I was talking about before. But I think that this was supposed to be a lip brush when I bought it, but well, that was also one thing that I was convinced about when I started using makeup, that I would need a really big foundation brush that, you know, you can cover your entire face with. But now I realize that I don't. And I also don't need a big powder brush either. I use this really small one. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some powder in the under eye area. Bum, 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 bum. The reason why I'm putting powder everywhere, not just to set the foundation, but also so that the foundation doesn't shine, because I don't like that when foundation is shiny, especially on the places where you don't want it to be shiny. For example, if you leave your under eyes really shiny, that I think that really enhances that area, and if you have really under eye circles, then it doesn't make sense to enhance that area. And what I like doing, and if you have seen me with makeup, then you probably realize what I'm gonna do next, is I'm gonna put some brown eyeshadow with this really small brush under this area of my eye. And people usually do this because they want to open up their eyes. With the contrast effect, it really helps if you have something under your eyes but not in the waterline. So you see, it really just gives it a little push to open. But what I found is a really good trick, is that if you do this and you have under eye circles, then your under eye circles probably won't appear as dark either, because you have some darker eyeshadow under there. That is just something that I found really useful. So that is what the eye looks like from up close. Now I'm gonna do the other one. And you could say that I probably could have stopped before putting this little line under my eyes, but for some reason I feel so incomplete if I leave my eyes without this little line. I don't necessarily feel incomplete if I don't have any makeup on, but I feel really weird if I do have all the other factors of my makeup and I don't have this line. I think we are finished. So as I've said, this was only using 5 makeup items and 5 brushes. But I do feel about this makeup that this kind of looks like it would have so much more makeup than it really actually does. And an additional thing that I almost forgot is, with the same brush that I used under my eyes, is that I sometimes put a little bit of eyeshadow into my brows if I want to enhance them a little, because I do really have really light colored brows. Sometimes it helps if I put some shadow in there as well. It just makes a small difference. So that is how this makeup is looking. I hope that this look could give you an idea about what I do in terms of makeup on an everyday basis. This is the simplest look that I could come up with that really works with me. I feel really comfortable in this makeup and I don't feel like that I cannot touch my face. You might have a much simpler makeup look that you use on an everyday basis, but this just works for me. And I think it is really beneficial if you don't use a full face of makeup every day. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that this was helpful if you were looking for some tips on how to use less makeup on an everyday basis. If you have some great tips, then share them with me. I'm always interested in finding out new things. So otherwise, thank you for watching. Have a very nice day and I will see you tomorrow.